19 keys. That's your download. Tap in. That's the download. Peace family, is 19 keys. Tapping in. This is your download. Relatives versus family. Now, I got in a lot of trouble before, back in the day when I first dropped the video, and I was giving my breakdown on friends versus associates and relatives versus family. And the idea is that I wanted people to have this understanding where they can correctly classify people, so therefore they don't have expectations, right, that people can never meet, because that's not the role or relationship of value that they actually play in your life. And I believe that at some point in time, a person can be a family, but then they can get bumped down to a relative. And then there's gonna be a time where a person can be a relative and they get bumped up to a family member. Well, how do we do that? What's the system that I utilize to make sure that I maintain my happiness? You understand me? To where I don't have false expectations that often create depressions and stress, anxiety, unnecessarily, because we haven't been taught how to correctly classify people based on the reciprocal relationships that we have with them. See, I know my idea of relative is somebody that you bonded with by blood. It can be marriage, right? It can be, you know, your cousin, your brother, your sister, your auntie, your mother, your father, your immediate family, right? Your second, third, fourth, fifth, 60th cousin, whatever you want to qualify. The people that show up at the family reunion. Those are relatives to me. You understand me? People that are connected to you by blood or by some other type of legal binding or extensive thing that, you know, your family name or your family ties are connected to, so you consider that to be a relative. And essentially, things that you almost have no control over, but this person is in your life or attached to you in some sort of way. Now, that doesn't mean that this person is actually family to you. That doesn't mean that you have this strong, bonded, loving relationship where you can count on this person, they go be there. No, that's just a relative, right? And when I think about the idea of family, I think about people who really will be there for you. People who know you. People who will reciprocate that energy. People who want to see the best for you. You understand me? People who will challenge you and help you grow in situations. See, if it's family, you can call on that person. If it's family, you keep up with that person. You understand me? And oftentimes, I believe what happens in relationships is like, you know, last year, or maybe 5 years ago, or 3 years ago, rather, you understand me? You had a relationship with somebody in that family. Y'all kicked it. Y'all was in similar points and places in life, or maybe it was convenience and proximity on why y'all spent more time with each other. And then y'all world start to grow apart. Either y'all traveled, maybe got in relationships, got a job, went to schools, whatever various reasons that can send you off in other directions. Now, you may have a past idea of who this person was. So you kind of freeze frame that in your head and be like, yo, that's fam. But if you meet that person again, they may have had a myriad of experiences that changed who they were. They may not have the same amount of loyalties that they used to have in a relationship that you remember. So for me, absence of relationship or time gap automatically bumps that person down to a relative. Doesn't mean you have less love for them. It means that we have to retest this relationship to see if we have reciprocity. You understand me? A lot of you all, I'm sure, have given relatives money, given them shelter, given them aid when they needed to, right? So you were being a family to that person, but if you ask for the reciprocation, they'd be a relative to you. You understand me? Meaning that they would not reciprocate. And sometimes it's just because they're not in a position, and other times they just don't feel like they owe you anything, right? So it's dangerous because oftentimes we put people, right, that don't meet the expectation of family in the wrong category. And then when they don't, we get all depressed and we get all sad. Well, was it that person's fault or was it yours? And I believe this system of classifying, for me, because expectation, right, is the mother of disappointment. So the moment you have an expectation upon a person, specifically in relationships, things that's closer to heart that deal with emotions, it's the easiest way for you to be disappointed, to fall into a depression, and you're trying to figure out why people don't support you or do this, that, and the third. Well, ask yourself, do you really know that person and that person really know you? Do y'all have that type of relationship? And I think what it does is it sets accountability and responsibility between those two people, right, to adjust, strengthen that relationship to the point of expectation, right? And mainly with consistency, communication, trust, right? That there has to be real love, and love is a duty. So if you all feel duty bound and you can execute on that duty consistently, that's family. But see, Oftentimes we get into it with family for a very specific reason. It's because we don't know each other. See, if you ain't been with your family in the last month or 2 or 3, a lot can happen in that time span, right? Those gaps of time actually matter. So you may be talking to that person like a little sister, a little brother, a little cousin, right? Because you remember who they used to be, but you don't know who they truly are. Because they didn't have a relationship that changed their ways. They didn't got more money, or they had experience, they had adverse conditions or traumas or triggers or successes that made them think and feel about life and who they are in different ways. So oftentimes you may hear arguments, you don't know me, because that person like, you couldn't possibly know what I've been through, because you don't know me. So you have to stop freeze framing images of people and who you think they are, and you have to update the profile of who they are. And that requires communication, that requires getting to know them sometimes all the way over, right? It's dangerous where you have the audacity to think that you know a person forever because you knew a person at one point in time. So for me, when it comes to family and relatives, family are people that you have a present relationship with, that you are actually connected with and you are bonded, that you know, that you understand, that you have duty and reciprocity with, that if you were to call and when there was a time of your need, they would be there and you would be there, vice versa. And family of people that we automatically assume relationship with because of our connection and our family ties to them. We will always have love for them, but the duty of love is not always there present in a relationship. So sometimes you have to bump them down to a relative. And then maybe y'all become tight again and that'll be fam. But until then, this will safeguard you from putting people in the wrong category with false expectations. I'm 19 Keys, and it's been your download. One in 7 wallets are owned by women. There's not enough women in cryptocurrency. A lot of women talk about being independent and not dependent on a man, or finding themselves in situations to where they are financially oppressed. But cryptocurrency allows women to be able to take the power in their own hands, to be able to utilize a simple skill set and start making money on a daily basis. You can be a mother, you can be a part-time employee, and you can still trade cryptocurrency by following the market and being part of a growing community. I don't want to see the next generation of women left behind because they didn't tap in and interact with this opportunity. That's why I created Infinite Wealth Strategies. It's infinite wealth, but you need a strategy in order to get you some. Make sure you tap in today, use promo code WOMAN, and take control of your future. It's waiting for you.